Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. My name's Willie B, and today we're going to be talking about a few things, but mostly being too careful as Azalea and different fab rules of thumb. How you guys doing tonight, and ladies and otherwise? I had a good week this week. We did a tennis camp with a group of young kids. There was a little boy named Mac. He had an older sister named Ellie, who was kind of like his Sherpa throughout the camp the whole week. Wherever she went, he was holding her hand, not far behind her. And he's a good kid, and he did well at playing tennis. It was fun teaching him. But he was a little bit of a crybaby. And we had these other boys named Petey and Charlie, and they came up with a little song. How did it go? Mac, you don't have to cry about everything, everything, everything. Mac, you don't have to cry about everything. And naturally, Mac started crying. And his sister said, "Don't sing that song." And as funny as it was, I kind of just had to put on a straight face and walk over and be like, "Boys, don't sing that song about Mac." He's a good kid, but he was a crybaby. And it was just funny to see the other kids pick up on that. What up, Justin? What up, Kaler? Callier. You tell me. You'll cry about what you want to. Hey, Mac was a good kid, but it was just so funny. Anytime anything happened that he didn't like, it was like, put on the crocodile tears and look for either Coach Will or my sister. What up, Joseph? How you doing? I wanted us to talk about some fab rules of thumb while we waited for everybody to filter in before we get to the main topic of the stream. And I figured I would just type right on top of my face. I need to be able to see the chat at the same time, though. Collier, cool. Doing good, Joseph? I'm happy to hear that. My chat's on this side for a change. Usually I have it over here, but I forgot to put my phone in the charger, so it's got to be plugged in on this side. All right, so fab rules of thumb, and if you guys can throw some at me from the chat, I've got one at the top. Be too careful, and you might just miss your chance to strike and to win. I guess I could say to win. That might even be a little bit more potent than to strike. To win. I think this one is especially true with Azalea. A lot of heroes, you need to take advantage of your opportunities, but there's just certain heroes that can kind of dirtle and get away with it, where, like, Azalea can't really dirtle. Like, you need to take full advantage of the on-hits that your arrows provide and understand that you're on a ticking clock to where, like, even an Anathos will eventually force you to stop blocking, or start blocking. And the moment Azalea starts blocking is usually the moment Azalea starts losing. So just, don't be too careful. We're going to get to that as we go. But I have some other fab rules of thumb that I wanted to share with you guys. An easy one that I learned early on. Fates, then sinks. Because you always want to opt and then sink below and maybe sink what you, just saw on top. Or at the very least, get something you don't want out of the way so you can sink below into something better. This is very basic fab. Everybody knows that one, but just thought I'd throw it on there. Fates, then sinks. What's another fab rule of thumb? You can't block around Pummel. We're just going to type right on top of my face. You cannot play around Pummel. They will arsenal it. You cannot play around Pummel. If someone swings a CNC at you for 6 and they are obviously going to be pummeling, you cannot then block with 3 cards on a piece of armor for 10 and think that you're in the clear now. They're just going to take that pummel and stick it in their arsenal and say, do it again next turn. And it is a losing proposition. You block for 6, you say, go ahead and play it, and you take your lumps. You cannot play around pummel. Do I have any other fab rules of thumb? Let me think. I haven't gotten over my face just yet. That's the goal. We want enough fab rules of thumb to cover the whole screen. I swear I had one. Oh, yeah. Never block a naked... I should capitalize. Never block a naked Dawn Blade. Learn that lesson thanks to Josh Lau. If Dory ever swings a Dawn Blade at you for 3 with no go again potential or pumps, no blocks. Because 9 times out of 10, you're just going to make the situation much worse for yourself. Now, if they have their shoes up and they can just break the shoes and swing it again, that's something to think about. But odds are, if they're swinging a naked Dawn Blade, your best bet is just to not block it. So you don't want to turn on their reprise, and you want to see more information out of them before you really commit to anything. Because if they do break their shoes, well, you can just block the next swing and stop that Dawn Blade counter, and that's fine. I'm going to crack open a beer. Care to join me? All right, let's check the chat, see if we got any other rules of thumb. Oh my, Justin, you're bad at Kano, someone says. I have to disagree with that. I think Justin is a great Kano player. Oh dear, well, looks like that Kano has teeth in the chat. Can't play around Pummel, also known as make them have it. Oh yeah, that's the other thing too. If you play around Pummel and they don't have it, you're giving them so much value. It's insane. There's been times where I was convinced that Ed had a Pummel, and he's swinging at me CNC 6, and it's just like, here's your 6 block, play the Pummel, and then he just arsenals the card because it's not Pummel. That's crazy. Imagine overblocking there. That's the kind of stuff that'll just lose you the game on the spot. But yeah, you're right. That's essentially make them have it. Put them on gotta have it. Which is very true in this game. A lot of times you gotta put your opponent on gotta have it. To within reason though. Sometimes, you know, if you can afford to play around it, go ahead and play around it. It depends, you know. It's not Pummel's one of those weird cases where you can't really afford it. Unless you got Oasis Respite, and then you can. That's always really cute. But, nah, I found reactions usually just want to go ahead and take it to the chin. Just like that warrior card. CNC should be banned in your opinion. It's too cheap and is in every competitive deck. Well, it's not in every competitive deck. It wasn't in the deck that I top 8'd with at US Nationals, and I consider that a pretty competitive deck. But I see your point. It's 2 for 6 with incredible on hit and no reaction text. Really, it's the no reaction text. It's just bananas. And the fact that it will then hit a reaction out of Arsenal, if you've got one there. No, yeah. It's really just the no reaction text that makes it crazy. Because there's a replacement card in the form of Wreck Havoc, I think it's called. It's, you know, pretty similar. Blocks 2, I think. But I don't know, CNC's like, maybe it's a little strong, but I don't think it deserves a ban. I think that's crazy. It's just a 2 for 6, and there's like so often you can just eat it, or like if it is just so backbreaking for you, it's like, well, then the deck that you're fighting against really needed that to be able to have a fight into you, probably. As a ranger player, like, oof, as Lexi, CNC sucked because you'd have 2 cards in Arsenal, so it was a lot worse than losing 1. But like sometimes you just got to take it and lose the Arsenal because at that point it's just 6. I don't know. It's You just got to understand which decks are going to be using that as their big tool against you and play around it the best you can. Maybe don't Arsenal. I found back when I was playing Fi against certain decks like that, the best move was to not try to set up. Just play out everything. Don't give them something to hit in your arsenal, and suddenly CNC is not that threatening. Certainly doesn't deserve a ban, in my opinion. Alrighty. What else we got? You don't think they'll ever ban the Power 9? What are the Power 9 in Flesh and Blood? I'd love to know the answer to that. Yeah, definitely don't play safe against Kano. We're going to talk about that in the stream. We're probably going to switch gears in just a second here. Going to see if anybody else had a rule of thumb so we could cover more of my face, but we got close enough. If I sit up here, it's on the forehead. All right, what else is chat saying? Do you have a order of preference, like always first? A little bit of a loaded question since I'm an Azalea player, but and I love going first, but truth be told, it's so often like more correct to choose to go second. Like first is only really better if you get to do like a cheat code dominate. If you don't cheat code dominate in some matchups and you choose to go first, you're like actively throwing. Like against Dawnblade Dory, if you go first and you don't do anything, you're probably just going to lose that game because going second against Dawnblade Dory, is just huge. It's integral to winning that matchup. Unless you go first and you do a big, disgusting, Red in the Ledger, Seek and Destroy, Premeditate, some other Blood Rot pump as well, Frailty pump as well, something crazy like that. If you do all that, then yeah, going first is better. But if you don't, it will just lose you the game. So no, I don't have a real preference on first or second. I learned that in testing on which matchups where it feels important. Because there's some matchups where I would much rather go first. You saw on stream against KO, I chose to go first. And I just think, that's a matchup where it can be pretty 50-50. So going first and rolling the dice on hitting that turn 0 dominate is just worth it. So it just depends. All that comes with testing. Now in draft, it pretty much feels correct to go second across the board, right? It depends on the hero. Like with Enigma at Nationals, I chose to go first in the mirror so I could establish a board, and I just ran away with it. So it's all contextual. Touche about 99 Ninjas. I'm not sure what you're toucheing, but I like that word. The only reason to ban CNC is its price. Isn't CNC like finally not that bad? Although, is it the price of like a tunic? I guess that's pretty rough. Back in my day, CNCs were even more expensive. So you kids. Hi, first time being here. Usually I'm on Josh's stream. What's up, Rorsch? Nice to see you. Happy to have you. What is the next talent you want to see on a ranger? And I'd love to go back to Elemental. Mystic. I don't even know how Mystic would translate, actually. Mystic does so many cool things, That's a tough question to answer. Because currently, I think Riptide is the ranger who's doing like the most interesting stuff and is poised to really take advantage of this new ranger deck that we're getting. What talent would I want to see? Ooh, Shadow. Give me a Shadow Ranger. Yeah, that was easy. If I could like play things out of Banish on top of everything else, like, ah, gross. Imagine like playing pumps out of Banish, on top of your Shadow Arrow that you have in Arsenal or whatever it may be. That'd be cool. Ooh, or a Shadow Ranger that just doesn't have access to an arsenal, but they get all kinds of like cool shadow arrows and like pumps and things that they can play out of Banish. Like instead of having an arsenal to shoot their arrows out of, they have to shoot all their arrows out of Banish. That'd be kind of cool. I have no idea how it would work, but that'd be pretty cool. Probably off the weapon, I guess. Yeah. Something to do with blood debt. Shadow. CNC Art of War E-Strike. Okay, well that's power 3. I wouldn't say 9. Art of War, CNC E-Strike. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would put Heart in like maybe Eye of Ophidia in that category more so though. It's funny though, Eye is really only like bananas and Kano. Pay attention to layers if your reactions can be impacted by your opponent's reactions. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was trying to think of a rule that had to do with, layering your reactions. I just couldn't think of a way to word it, like, concisely. Pay attention to layers if your reactions can be blah, 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 blah. Like, the way you've explained it is perfect, but it's still not as concise as I want it to be for like just a rule of thumb. React in the correct order, I guess. Let your opponent react first sometimes. Sure. I like that. Let your, we'll say enemy just for fun. Enemy, nah, we'll just say opponent. That's a little harsh. Let your opponent react. Oh God, I'm so white you can't even see it. This was a mistake. Let your opponent react first. Sometimes. ... We'll do it like that. Let your opponent react first sometimes. Can I shrink this down some? I was so excited to have it. There we go. To have it cover my face, but I'm a very, very white person, so it's just going to vanish. But yeah, let your opponent react first sometimes. And this is kind of true in Azalea a fair amount with Rain Razors. A lot of the times your Rain Razors are pretty like easy to spot coming. Not always, but like a decent amount of the time, like when you go Bolton shot out of Arsenal, no pump, they pretty much know you're not going to waste your Snapdragon Scalers on that. Like, you've got a Rain Razors. So when they go, like, block for 2, and, like, say, any reactions, well, I guess, that's a scenario where you're always going to play your Rain Razors no matter what. But there's some scenarios where you're going to Arsenal it. So I guess a better case is, like, I don't know, if you're ending your turn with, like, an infecting shot for 8, and they block for 6, and they go, any reactions? Well, before you go pumping it up to 10, it's pretty smart to go, no reactions from me, and let them go first. Because if you waste that Rain Razors and they go sink below, that's so much value that you could have accrued by just sticking in an arsenal. Whereas, like, if you hold it back, you get to save it for later. And just, react in the right order. There's more examples to explain that one better, but that's what I got. Anyways, though, that's enough. That's enough of that. Thank you for everybody's recommendations, though, and chatting. That was great. All right, we are going to switch over to the meat and potatoes of this here stream. We're going to be talking about, or we're going to be observing actual scenarios of players being a little too careful. And we're going to talk about it. So you guys, tell me what you think I'm gonna pause certain things and talk about certain matches. But we're gonna see in reality when someone is perhaps playing a little too carefully and it costs them. Now, this is my Nationals top 8. I wanted to start with this one because it's I just mean to say to the other players that I show off, I'm not trying to dog on you. Nobody in the chat, please get that, don't look at it that way, because I messed up too. I play too carefully sometimes. It's just something to think about when you're there in the moment. But yeah, so here we are. It's 11-5. I've done a pretty aggressive game plan the whole game. I've been blind Azaleaing because I'm wearing the other hat. And I've really just been rewarded by the top of my deck. There was even one blind Azalea a few turns ago where the arsenal was knock the death whistle. And I had a lot of options to like just knock and get like a good dominate off the top. Instead, I went for a blind Azalea because I knew, it's either hit an arrow, and that's fine because it's basically the same as doing knock. And I think I still had snaps up, so I would have just snapped. I don't remember exactly. But I hit Codex of Blood Rot. And that just allowed me to utilize the whole hand instead of having to hold back something and still end up with a ponder. So it's like I got to utilize every single card in my hand and still end up with an arsenal, whereas if I had just taken advantage of the knock, I keep back a card for arsenal and I only get a certain level off of the dominate. I think ultimately my aggressive play really did well to get me to this point and set me up for a win. But as we see here, 11-5, I'm sitting here hoping that my opponent Andrew just throws like one big thing, I just don't want him to have go again. Admittedly, he's held back cards when I attacked, so clearly he's gonna have go again. But I'm hoping maybe it's a Bear Fangs or something that he couldn't have blocked with. Turns out it was a Pulping, something that he could not have blocked with, but it will get him that go again that I'm so fearing. And also, you'll see the reason that I decide to play carefully here. He pitches a Reckless Swing. And the Reckless Swing reminds me, oh yeah, this deck can kill me on my turn. And unfortunately, at this point, I feel pretty safe because I'm thinking, all right, well, he's just going to throw like a 6 after this. I don't even care if it's like a disruptive Arsenal 6, I can kind of live with whatever. And I'll just drop down. But then it ends up being an 8, which really throws off my math. And I think it's just such a good example of being way too careful. Oh, that's right, he claws in the middle too, which is pretty darn spicy. And this is just a great show from Andrew. He played this match so perfectly, always taking advantage of like the fact that he could throw something big, even through all of my like just blood rot pox and frailties and all these things. And here it is, the swing big for 8. No frailty to bring it down to 7. Best option is to just block for 3 and drop to 1. But I'm staring at that Reckless Swing in his pitch zone, and I'm thinking, man, if I drop to 1 here, I'm going to try to dominate him next turn, and he's just going to kill me with a Reckless Swing. And unfortunately, I decide that it is just... I'm going to turn up the speed here. A little bit too slow. I decided that it would be just too unfortunate to die at a Reckless Swing on the very next turn. And I'm thinking, as long as he doesn't have like just a cracked, like good attack as his follow-up next turn, then I can just finish him a turn later. So I decide to be careful and buy myself a little wiggle room from that Reckless Swing. Now, ultimately, not only is this playing too carefully, but it's also playing a little bit dumb. Because, yeah, I'm playing around Reckless Swing here. but there's 2 in his deck, and I see 1 in pitch. So the other one could be anywhere in the deck. It's likely not in the next 4 cards. And oblivious to it, by, doing what I'm about to do, I'll drop to 3, which plays around Reckless Swing, but it doesn't play around Pulping. There's a Pulping right there on the table. He's got plenty more in deck. Like, I'll drop to 3 just to... I mean, I guess with Tunic I can play around a naked Pulping, but this deck makes mites so easily. Like, that Pulping's going to be for 7, so it's just... There's no line that being careful can win you the game here. Where, as we see, I block to drop down to 3 and play around Reckless Swing. But the very next thing, I play Read the Glide Path. We'll zoom ahead a little bit. And I see my wind staring at me. And I realize I've screwed up right here. It's like, there's the drill shot, the 0-cost arrow. I thought, and I was nervous to, like, even though I had an opt, I was like, drop to 1, and then it's only worth it if I can dominate for 10. So I have to have exactly a 0-cost arrow on top. And I bottom it because I'm just so annoyed that it was there. So the dominated 10, even through his last 3 block on armor, just snipes him. It gets him. But unfortunately, I decided to take my own out and just squander it. So yeah, he goes on to beat me, which Andrew is a great player. I'm still very happy with that top 8 performance. I'm still happy with this match, except for deciding to just laser focus in on a 2 of Reckless Swing, which is just... I think that's nerves. I think that's knowing I'm on camera, and that's not wanting to, like, lose a specific way. But I was so focused on not wanting to lose in one specific way that I ignored the fact that, like, I have the opportunity to win if I go for it, and there's so many other ways to lose. There's so many other ways to lose. Like, E-Strike for 7, he throws a swing big for 8, and that extra turn that I'm hoping to get never comes, It's just... Yeah, so, too careful, and a little bit foolish on top of it. Just getting laser focused on the wrong thing. But yeah. Anyways. So moving on. We have a Kano match and a Bolton match. And I'm going to go to the chat. I'd like to know which one you guys would like to see first. Okay, I think this should be charged by now. Yeah. So tell me in the chat, do we want to watch Kano or Bolton? And we're going to go with whichever one appeals to you guys more. Well, we got 1 vote for Bolton. Oops, sorry. I missed this question forever ago. I saw you say something as an Azalea player, and I meant to answer it, but then I just didn't. Do you think Illusionist hand disruptions like Dissolve Reality, Phantasmaclasm, and Lost in Thought bothers you a lot? Well, Phantasmaclasm is funny. When I fought the Enigma on the way to top 8, the stream game that got a little crazy, his first Phantasmaclasm, I had 4 arrows, and by bottoming a card, it found me a pump, and then I just took 9, so it was like a 3 for 9 that just made my hand better. And then his second Phantasmaclasm, I had 4 pumps, and by bottoming a card, it found me an arrow. So both Phantasmaclasms just made my hand better. So, like, Phantasmaclasm's kind of awesome. As far as Dissolve Reality, I think Dissolve Reality is very disruptive and very good. Again, just like CNC, sometimes I don't even care. Like, I'll just eat it. Sometimes Dissolve Reality is, like, just okay. But, like, there's been times where, like, I've seen the the illusionist opponent like pitch dissolve reality instead of playing it at the end of their turn or something like that, and it like would have crippled my hand and crippled my turn if they had gone for it. So there's dissolve reality is pretty good. But yeah, Phantasmaclasm, and I'm sure there's scenarios where Phantasmaclasm can just be backbreaking, so it just depends. But for me, it's been great. Shadow Ranger, trading life for arrows. Yep. Warriors are the most impacted, especially Dory. What are you talking about there? Not sure what you mean, Justin. Only for learning. What up, Robert? That claw. Oh yeah. No, but I love the claws. I think that's some of the best designed weapons in Fab. Crucible of War really knocked it out of the park with that. Yeah, exactly. Bolton for spice, save Kano for last. Ah, Jeff is a gentleman. All right, so we're going to start with Bolton then. All right, cool. Let's rock and roll. All right, so we have this currently set to a little faster than 1.5 speed actually, because this match is a little long. But I thought 2 times speed was pushing it. So Jeff did not get to go first here. The Bolton is going first, which Bolton wants to do to charge as well as other things, but mostly just to guarantee that Azalea can't do a turn 0 dominate. And interesting, charging one of the best cards in the deck and playing a V for the Vanguard already. So that's, I mean, you got to charge turn 0, but that is 2 cards that are very powerful already out of the way. So that is not the best start for Bolton. But at least he had a charge card. I guess the alternative is that no charge at all. Little turn 0 Codex of Bloodrot. Not bad. It's not outstanding, but getting that Ponder and getting that Bloodrot already on the other side is pretty nice. Now, it's looking like this hand does not have much in the way of pumps in it. Oh, no, I had that one. So that's still pretty good. So this is pretty good. You know, he's basically doing the take aim trick here, getting off an opt. Now he gets to see if there's a pump that he can draw or if there's an arrow that he could maybe dominate into, but considering his hand was pre-med, I don't think there was really much consideration for getting rid of his only pump. But so far, so good. Jeff is playing this like beautifully. That is a great way to sequence this hand. It's unfortunate that he couldn't really fire the sleep dart. I suppose he could have pitched the Codex of Bloodrot, but guaranteeing the arsenal in the form of the Ponder and doing a little bit of damage in the form of the Bloodrot is pretty darn good. I suppose there's a world where he just, you know, keeps the drill shot, pitches the Codex to load Sleep Dart and go pump Sleep Dart. But this is still very good, especially considering the frailty. That helps a lot. That was what was on top, I believe, yeah. Getting a decent amount of block. And you know what? Yeah, the drill shot's perhaps a little bit more annoying than the sleep dart currently, just because there is a lot of armor that needs to be gotten through. And 2 of it's already blocked now. And just a CNC as a response. So that was what he arsenaled. Now, I hand-tailored this match because there are moments where Jeff, I think, is a little too careful. But, we'll talk about that when we get to it. Oh, gotcha, Justin. Good deal, Patrick. Good to know. So, I've often found, unless your arsenal is just something so important, you're probably just eating this 6. Now, sometimes your hand is full of arrows, and it's like, well, if I can block 6 here, then I still do things with my hand. And, you know, considering there probably isn't a trick here, he can just block with an even 6, but... And considering there's 2 endless arrows and a amplifying arrow in hand, you know, blocking might be enticing here. There's no reason to hold that many arrows, unless, you know, the hand supports it. So I'm very curious what the arsenal is here. I wonder if he's going to show it to us. Ah, it was a knock. Okay. If one of those endless arrows were a pump, I feel like I'd probably just eat that 6 there. But, okay, let's see what was on top. Something good. Take aim. There you go. Now we got an endless arrow for 10. That's pretty good. And that is an example of, like... Now, Jeff is clearly a very good player, but I've noticed a lot of, like, newer Azalea players will really value Knock the Death Whistle, like, very highly. And Knock the Death Whistle is a crazy good card, don't get me wrong. But sometimes it's just like a blue that blocks for 3, or something you need to Azalea to the bottom. And as we saw here, Jeff saw the take aim and decided to go ahead and ship it to the bottom and shoot this endless arrow for 10. The knock really just had the option to let him fire a dominated 7 there. Well, he said, dominated 7, I'd rather just shoot the 10. Now, there's something to be said for the dominate. It would have been a guaranteed hit, but I think shooting the 10 there was fine. Unless Bolton had a crazy good hand, odds are he's just going to give you the hand like he did. Now he has a whole nother look at setting up something gross. And it looks like we're going to take advantage of the take aim ability again. Might as well. Get a free opt. Ooh, Blood Rot Arrow. Now, there's a chance he might just dominate into that. Now, it's not Sleep Dart, it's not Red in the Ledger, which is definitely a little bit better in the Bolton, but this is a game that you do want to end after a certain point, so dominated Blood Rots are pretty good. And he can do Codex, he can do it all, actually. Oh, interesting. Now, is this a snaps play? Because I would think go ahead and play out the pump, and then play the Codex, get whatever, and then Azalea, and use Tunic to pay for it. Okay. So, dominated 11. Still very good. I just, you know, you could have stuck Ponder and Frailty out there as well. But maybe it's a snaps play. Could be a snaps play. Seems like not exactly the best use of snaps. And it's 3 less damage because he shipped that 1 card to the bottom. I'd be curious to see. Maybe he just really wants the Codex for next turn, but I think going ahead and pulling the trigger on that, considering you'll get a Ponder, is just a smidge better, but we'll see. We'll see. Is that right, Justin? I'll admit, that was a big reason I picked this one. I remember watching it and thinking that both players were, like, playing well, but also thinking, like, man, there's a lot of opportunity that feels like it's not getting the full effect, we'll say. Alright, so is he blocking with that as well as charging it? Or okay, so he is going for a snaps play. I guess this is fine. You turn that pump into effectively a 0 for 4 here. I still don't think that's super worth it because it's just 1 more value. And effectively, instead of going 3, maybe inertia, he's going 4, maybe armor. Okay. I guess for the armor, that's not bad. But I just, you know, you have to use snaps for this line, and it is only 1 to 2 more value, we'll say. Not to mention the, well, I guess he's under Seek and Destroy here, so never mind. The inertia doesn't matter, but, so it's like 1 to 2 more value, But you have to use your Snapdragon scalers, which I think kind of negates the value a little bit. But that's me looking from the outside in. He knows his deck better than mine. Maybe that Codex was better to be comboed like that. All right, we got an Azalea activation. Do a pump. Didn't we play Seek and Destroy last turn? Or am I crazy? I'm not sure. Alright, so Red in the Ledger. This is loaded off of Death Dealer, so no Dominate. But it is 11, and he held back some cards, so Aiden can probably guess what's going on here. Blocking it for 9. Does that maybe mean he's sitting on a Soul Shield? I mean, Jeff has no reason to play the reaction currently. Well, you might as well. Okay, yeah, never mind then. I believe because it's an instant, you can even play it after they say no reactions. Ah, okay. CNC. So Aiden is kind of getting a little clumped up. You know, these CNCs are landing in Arsenal, but as we see here, he had to pitch Illumina to play it, and this is Raiden Bolton as well. So he kind of plays a tempo game, not exactly a huge Lumina go Boomina type turn. And I think this might be an example of where it's probably correct to just eat the CNC. I forget exactly what Jeff does here, but he has a knock, a red, and 2 other cards in hand. I can't quite read them. And he might just block 6 here. You know, he is up 40. Never mind. So yeah, this is an example where he just takes it, loses a Remorseless, which is fine if you have a hand full of, you know, arrows and, you know, potential loading things. You want to go ahead and get that arrow out of there anyways. And without Snapdragon Scalers, Aiden potentially has done Jeff a favor here. But odds are he'd be able to find a pump on top to swap into. But now he has the option to try and find a Dominate, and that knock is perhaps looking pretty juicy. But he also may just pitch it here. It's usually what I do. And there you go. What are you loading? Probably that red, if I had to guess. I think the other card is that a drill shot? It is a drill shot. Loading the drill shot. Interesting. Now, is he going to just bottom it? Or is he trying to send a big drill shot? Now, there's not much armor left. I feel like red would be a little more logical here. But at the same time, the Bolton, you know, he's sitting on 2 soul, no arsenal. Okay, we had 2 pumps. Okay. Now, wasn't the other card in Red in the Ledger? I'm so curious why he didn't just load here. I guess he knows he's coming up on Tunic. This is threatening a Frailty, so it is still threatening something. And this Bolton has already proven that he doesn't mind blocking, so maybe he's just thinking, like, I might as well just hold back this good arrow, say, go ahead and block this, you know, drill shot, because he should. Okay, Illuminate. Now this would ruin the plan, in my opinion. If I did this line that Jeff went for, it's because I want Aiden to arsenal a card, and then I want to have like a Red in the Ledger inertia / seek and destroy effect to really punish that arsenal, or perhaps a release attention or remorseless in case he tries to arsenal defense reaction. But then turns out it was just a 0 for 4 that advances Aiden's game plan, and that is just 4 that he's going to have to eat. But honestly, if I'm Jeff, I'm not too bothered by it either. Like, not that threatening. So looks like we're going to Azalea here. He put the card back on top. Oh, we're going to knock. So, didn't matter what was on top. He was going to pick it anyways. I'm Jeff here. I'm thinking maybe I go for Remorseless. Red is usually the better choice, but Aiden doesn't have an arsenal. And he's not on the true combo plan, so if he wants to do anything cool... Sleep Dart. Sleep Dart's great. Never mind. Sleep Dart's the correct choice here. Not a huge reason to grab red currently, but Sleep Dart will just go ahead and mess with Bolton's whole game plan, so pretty darn good choice. Pump, pump. Dominated 11. Two very good pumps, and a very good on-hit on the arrow. So this is just looking great for Jeff. You know, everything is going according to plan. And Aiden, slap happy. You know, not a bad thing to have here. Saves him a little extra life around the dominate. But still not in the best position, gaining an inertia and a blood rot, as well as taking a fair amount of damage. Now, if you look, life totals are still pretty close, mostly due to the warrior having, what is that, 3, 3, and 3, so 9 extra life. Though I suppose Jeff has 3 extra life in the form of his armor block, so, you know, not looking too bad. And now look at that. Aiden has the perfect response. He has a charged natural going attack, so he can, off of that, what is it called? Slap Happy. Off of that Slap Happy, he can afford to play out his whole hand, present a like a good enough amount of damage, and get more cards in Soul, and not really worry about that inertia at all. So that worked out kind of nicely for Aiden, actually. Sleep Dart usually spells no go again, but what is it called? Take Flight. Take Flight does not need go again. Or rather, Bolton's hero ability. It's got natural go again. Again, so far so good from Jeff, aside from maybe the Snapdragon play, but we haven't really seen where him having snaps would be huge. So far so good. And he did get 1 to 2 more value off of his line compared to mine. And if the snaps never matters, then it's just strictly better. Will I be in Amsterdam, Clads? Yes, I will be in Amsterdam, and I will bring you a crisp dollar bill. Okay, he full blocked that inertia I was talking about, Justin, or Seek and Destroy, I mean to say. Oh, he had a frailty because of Codex, that's right. Okay, cool. That's why I got confused. What up, Dennis? Good to see you. Hey, will I see you in Amsterdam? Will I at the very least see you in Osaka for Worlds? Because I'm going to Osaka, baby. I never gave up Illusionist. I still am a Prism believer. I have a passing fancy with Enigma. I 3-0'd that draft with Enigma. Felt great. I'm still an Illusionist boy. I play it all now. I play a little bit of everything. They call me a jack of all trades. Okay then. I wasn't paying attention for a second, but looks like tried and true, just CNC. I assume did Jeff do anything there that I question? I'm not sure. I don't think so. And block and CNC is correct when you can do it off of a 3-block, a 2-block in your arms. And it's Codex and Arsenal, so that's usually worth protecting, although I like Codex better in hand than I do in Arsenal. Alright, so we have 2 pumps. We got a Codex and Arsenal that he is debating on. And I think that was a Bolton shot. And I think that was another pump, which is a great Arsenal target. The only downside here is that we don't have... Honestly, this is a great line. I see why he blocked the CNC now. Go ahead and cash in the glove value early in case they do something that's like a Warmonger's play. And now you get to fire for good damage with a inertia on hit, which is spicy. I feel like here maybe you just grab Drill Shot actually, because he still has 1 block in armor, but that's whatever. But that was just a good block. You don't want to lose your codex because you're going to give your opponent a frailty. You're going to give yourself a ponder. It's just such a nice little 3-card play, 2-card hand, 1-card arsenal play. With Tunic up to 3, it gets even spicier, but this is pretty darn good. Jeff, continuing to just play very, very well. And as you see, like, there's a reason I put this to 1 and 0.75 speed, almost 2 times speed. These players are, they're 7-3. They're excited for their shot at top 8, so they're playing carefully, and I don't think it's necessarily one or the other, but they are playing a little slow, Like, this turn should probably be done within a few minutes, and, as we see, the seconds are just zooming by. And, it's fine. It is what it is. I sometimes take my time on certain turns, but you just have to be aware of it. Like, you really have to be keeping an eye on that clock. When you go past that, like, first 10-minute mark, look at the life totals, look at the deck size, and, like, evaluate if you need to hurry up or maybe tell your opponent to speed up a little bit. It's never fun telling your opponent to pick up the pace, but sometimes you just got to do it. All right, so he was able to block for 10 and set up a Quicken. Not too shabby. And looks like he's just going to pass, unless maybe he has, yeah. All right, and this is where things, Warmongers. There we go. It's a good thing we blocked with the gloves when we had a chance. Or Jeff did, rather, not we. Will anyone from the card guys be in battle-hardened Baltimore, I assume that is? Or Bali? Like Bali? I don't think so. The only battle hardens we go to are the ones that are like fairly close by. Alright, so we both picked war. We're breaking the glove, figuring out what we're going to bottom. We're probably just shooting an arrow for 8 here. Maybe 9 if it's a 1 for 5. Wait, I know Josh and Nathan going to be at World Premiere. Oh, in Tampa? Oh, yeah, I'll be in Tampa. I have family in Tampa, so not only could I go visit family, but I can go play the World Premiere. That's crazy. Oh, and look at that. This is cool. Usually, you're using your long draw half glove to play. Oh, interesting. He had to use bow here, though, so this has to hit in order for him to reload. But you're usually using it on, like, whatever arrow you got. But Bolton shot lets you threaten to go wide on a Warmonger's turn without rain racers or like any cool tricks. So that's pretty cool from Jeff. I've never used long draw half glove for I think that's what it's called for a Bolton shot before. So I think that's pretty darn cool. Now there's a chance that maybe it's only arrow, but I like this play. It threatens the reloads, and being able to shoot 2 arrows on a Warmonger's turn is pretty crazy. Like, that's super good. Endless arrow because he can tunic it next turn in case he doesn't draw 0 cost and blocks with other arrows. He's just got a ponder, Dario, so I feel like, I mean, you're right. It's nice to have the option to arsenal endless arrow there no matter what, but with a ponder you're always going to end up with something. But yeah, you're probably right, Dario. Good to hear it, Joshua. All right, so we have flipped up a Sleep Dart from Skullbone Crunchwrap. And we are about to get to the part where he is a little too careful. And Jeff, in my opinion, has actually been playing this game really well. I do disagree with the use of snaps so early on, but it was still fine. And you need to get the snaps value when you can, so it could have been as simple as just guaranteeing that he got that value. But I think I would have held that one back. But again, 1 to 2 value over my play, so if the match is decided by 1 to 2 value, then there you go. Alright, so we're blocking for 12 on this 11. The Bolton player is just trying to bide his time and weather the storm that is Azalea. Now this is where you really get to see like Azalea players have to make some choices. Because here, he's got a full grip, and he's got all the tempo in the world. He needs to extract as much value out of this turn as humanly possible. Oh, and he's got rain razors. And it looks like several Bolton shots, so it might be pretty doable. Now, this is a pretty obvious rain razors, but what is Bolton going to do about it, honestly? Now, the big one here is if he has another Bolton shot, and it looks like he does. Now, I forget what he saw on top. And this is where they start counting their decks. This was a curious part of the stream. They were we find out the Bolton deck is down to, I think, 14 or 15, and the Bolton deck's down to like 18 or 19, and the Azalea is down to like 14 or 15. So they're running low on deck. The Bolton player is up on cards, but with Azalea's access to dominate, that really doesn't matter. And this is honestly, they're just chewing up minutes. And when you're in like the last 15 or lower minutes, you really got to be playing snappy when there's this much life left on the like 24 to 13, with the knowledge that you're just trying to get to dominate as fast as possible. Oh, Tunic. Tunic makes this a lot better. So instead of taking advantage of the reload off of the Bolton shot, he wanted to get his draw off of Death Dealer, so he's going to load it off of Tunic. And he's going to go ahead and get that read the glide path off. Now he might just want to dominate here. Now he's going to go ahead and fire it, take advantage of the rain razors. If the Bolton player didn't block the last one, he might not block this one. But then again, we've used Death Dealer. Oh yeah, I remember this. This is cool. Jeff takes advantage of the reload function off of knock. He probably still dominates, but you know, this is basically like a codex line, you know? It's like, block this unless I have codex, and then you get punished. Well, he doesn't have codex, but he has knock the death whistle, which still says reload. This is actually a pretty cool line. Honestly, Jeff plays this whole game pretty perfectly. There was one disagreement early on. And again, you know, I don't think it's neither one of them that's eating up this clock. I think it's both of them. And this is just, you know, where like, you just gotta be a little bit quicker or be a little bit more aware. And they're on stream, so maybe they're not super aware of what the clock is. Sometimes the stream area is like so far from the clock you have no clue. But they definitely should have just paid a little more attention to it and been a little more careful about that. But yeah, this is very good. And then, because it's going to be dominated and it's going to be for 6, odds are, I guess he could use his shoes maybe if he has like the specific right card. But odds are he's going to be able to get away with a dominate. An endless arrow back in Arsenal here. So it's almost like it has Ponder. And this is great. That's such a good play. Like that turn was just executed beautifully. And now we're down to the nitty gritty though. Less than 7 minutes left. And I think this is the turn where he plays it too carefully, actually. Let's see. Is that the drill shot? Oh, no, it can't be, because he's got to knock the death whistle here. So this isn't it. Is that a double Bolton shot rain razors? Ooh, baby. Draconic Ranger or Shadow Ranger Ouija? Cool. But no, yeah, that knock being a reload, such a cool line, such a cool play. And then he finishes off with the dominated endless to go ahead and take advantage of the free arsenal target. Just super, super good from Jeff here. All right, so we probably opt the first thing to the bottom for Azaleaing for drill shot here. Okay, so this is, I'm going to pause it real quick. I believe this is where he made his mistake. He settled for dominated drill shot for 7 here. And I forget what the rest of the hand is. Does he show it? It is a red and something else. Red and knock. Okay. So with access to knock, we can either, pick our dominate, and, we don't have snaps anymore. And this is where snaps is maybe coming back to bite us too. Because snaps, you can just snap this and even pitch the blue, load that red and fire it and really threaten his turn. But that's beside the point. This drill shot was playing it too carefully. He opted with the hat, and he opted once with read the glide path. And I think Jeff was like, my opponent's at 7. Maybe he doesn't realize there's only 5 minutes left in the round. That could be true. But my opponent's at 7. He hasn't presented a real turn the whole game. I can just dominate a 7 and basically kill him next turn, I think is maybe Jeff's thought process here. Like a dominated 7 drill shot is probably good enough. It's not. Like, you've got 2 cards left in the hand now that are being wasted. So I think either you got to knock to pick your arrow, be it red or remorseless, whatever it might be, or you need to just bottom this drill shot, blind Azalea, and either like hit a better arrow. And I didn't realize he had knock, so really he didn't even need to blind. But you bottom the drill shot. We find out, I think, in the next hand that it's a remorseless on top next. So a dominated remorseless is pretty huge into Bolton, would be really huge into this subsequent Bolton turn we're about to see. But really, in the moment, it's like I'm not even thinking about what arrow's on top. I want to find a pump. I want to bottom whatever after I bottom drill shot, and I'm a Azalea, hopefully hit a pump, play it, pitch the blue knock, load the red, fire, or hopefully draw another pump, at the very least draw an arsenal target, fire it. Now that's red for 11 or maybe 14 that Aiden has to like just give his whole hand to, and now we're set up to really close the game out with like a 10 dominate, a 13 dominate, something like that. But because we've just settled on dominated drill shot for 7, and we're going to set up and kill him the very next turn, Aiden gets a chance to get right back into this game. Because I think it's because he already looked twice. You opt once, you opt a second time. What am I going to do? Just blind Azalea? It's like, yes, you're going to blind Azalea here. Or really, because you've got a knock in hand, you're not even going to blind Azalea. And let's see, I think it's a remorseless. I'm pretty sure it's a remorseless. And like, even still, like, if you blind into that is really crippling for this potential turn. He's going to have to eat a damage here. He's going to have to eat a damage on both of the Luminas that he plays. Like, he actually dies before he can even swing Raiden here, because both Luminas are non-attack actions, so drops to... I guess he actually drops to 1. Because he's only 3 here. Let me run that back. Was he at 4 before he played that 1 attack? No, yeah, he's supposed to drop to 2 right here on the first attack. And so now he's playing the double Lumina. Didn't even have to burn a soul because he had a quicken token that he had set up earlier. And Lumina 1, Lumina 2, boom, that would drop him to 0. So he would have to like swing his sword before ever even playing the second Lumina, giving the opponent a chance to like double block it and make it so no life gain happens. I guess then he would swing it again. But like still, like Aiden should be at 2 here, technically, if Remorseless had happened. Which I believe is the Arsenal. I'm fairly certain. I could be wrong. But still, with a knock in hand, that you can pick your dominate, or you can blind Azalea, hit a pump, and then pitch that blue to just load and fire a red for 11 and or 14. Just you basically make it so this turn never gets to happen. And because there were 5 minutes left, and I think Jeff was setting up for the kill, now he has to survive this turn, which eats up the remainder of the clock. And Aiden is really in just a huge position now, because the Azalea has to give up some cards here, I think. Or maybe he just drops to 1 and keeps the whole hand. I forget. But even still, though, dropping to 1, like, unless he gets to dominate for the game, the Bolton can just, like, get you. You know? He doesn't have to keep, if he keeps, like, 2 cards, I guess he would need like a vigor or something to be able to do an attack and a sword swing. But he could do like an E strike for 7, you know, something like that, and then boom, the Azalea's in big trouble. And we did the Azalea dominate here. It's just for 8s. Are there no more pumps in this hand? Looks like not. And he's able to survive off of his shoes. I believe this is when time is called. Yes, and this is incredibly unfortunate. All right, so I'll go ahead and pause it. But this is the judges come over and tell them time in the round has been called. Jeff, you're going to finish this turn. Aiden, you're going to get 1 chance to crack back. I think, well, we can keep going actually, because Aiden's crack back, he lays out the cards. I want to see those cards. I'm pretty sure he has 1 play since he's eating red in the ledger here. And Jeff, because he's a class act, he both these players are on basically like on the bubble. If they lose here, they're out. If they win, they've still got a shot at top 8. Jeff, realizing that and not wanting to drag them both down with a draw, concedes and gives it to Aiden. Class act, good for him. Good for Aiden. Aiden played to his outs. He played as best a game as he could. Now he's eating a dominated red here that he cannot block out completely. So with I know there's a Lumina in hand and like 2 other cards, but I'm pretty sure Aiden's only line of play is an Illuminate, a 0 for 4 out of hand, being under red in the ledger. He has no Beacon of Victory. He played one earlier. He's got one in Soul that he's just got off of his double Lumina turn. Aiden's only line of play is to throw a 0 for 4, which Jeff can block off of 1 arrow and his tunic, or his hat if he needs tunic for his turn. And then he has basically a full grip, not quite, but almost a full grip. So then he's even got a knock in hand, so he can like very easily just finish Aiden the very next turn. But because they're out of time, they don't get to get those turns. And I do believe Jeff, by not taking full advantage on that turn where he just fired a drill shot dominated for 7, he allowed Aiden to have that burst turn that he had, and it ate enough time that then Jeff didn't get to play the game that he most likely was going to win. You know, Aiden throws a 0 for 4. It doesn't charge, so Jeff can block, you know, normally. He's got a hat or tunic to give up. And with Aiden at, is it 5? No, he's about to eat 3 and drop down to 2. With Aiden at 2, there's very few, like, there's so many ways you can dominate and get somebody from 2 that I'm pretty sure Jeff just wins within the next 2 turns. So it's unfortunate for Jeff. The time, you know, was played a little loosely. The last turn before this one, Jeff had the potential to find a better dominate or play for just finding a pump on top as well and still presenting a red with big damage. But by doing the line that he picked, it gave Aiden just enough time to have a good burst turn to buy himself back into this match. And when time was called, they both got screwed. Now, Jeff's a great guy. He gave up the win. Good for Aiden. Like, a very well played game from both players, but not exactly fast enough to really take advantage of the choices that they did make. But what do you think? What is your opinion on that? You think that I'm perhaps just reading a little too deeply into it? Tell me. Red and knock. What up, Saint Havoc? LSS will never give Ranger access to 6-block armor. I guess the Shadow Ranger would get husk, wouldn't they? That's funny. Not sure if he has B and S. What is B and S? Oh, Bolton shot? Yeah, he had Bolton shots left. So yeah, there's a line with Bolton shot as well, Dario. It was just, I think he opted twice. He feels very ahead. Like, why perhaps blind dominate into something? Why give up this knock when I can just arsenal it or keep it in hand to finish the game on the very next turn? You know, it's just he never got that chance. So there's a lot of lines that Jeff had access to. I just think, I'm not here to judge. I think Jeff played very well. I really, the only thing I judge is that they should have been a smidge faster, because I think Jeff wins this game with his choices if he has another 2 turns. But it is what it is. In any case, a good game, a fun game to watch, and a lot of great choices made by Jeff and Aiden to get to where they got. I really loved that Rain Razor's play that then took advantage of the knock of the death whistle at the end of the turn. I always dog on knock the death whistle, but when it's really good, it's really good. So it is what it is. All right. And now we will go to another Canadian national game. This will be Avery Miles against Jimmy Nero Demers? I'm not exactly positive how to pronounce that. But yeah, this is a good one. I rather like it. Now we see, I believe this is a game where the Azalea player does not go first. Another game as well where they don't get to choose if they're going to blind dominate on turn 0 or not. The funny part is you always blind dominate on turn 0 unless something very specific happens. Now I will say I am a little bit of a different opinion than Avery on the armor choices in this match. I agree with everything except for the Snapdragon Scalers. I believe Kano, with the introduction of Kindle, I believe it's called, the new instant, you really need like a little bit extra to protect yourself from that first wildfire. So I think Spell Void 1 on the legs is a little bit more valuable than Snapdragon Scalers. Spell Fray 1. They're Spell Fray leggings, I think they're called. Spell Void 1. But at the same time, Avery might get huge value out of his Snapdragon Scalers in this game and beat the game before, or win the match before Kano ever really gets a chance to wildfire, in which case Snaps would just be strictly better. Death Dealer is a messed up card. Might as well put yourself in spots to use it more. Exactly, no. Oh, what up, Charlie? Hey. No, Death Dealer's bananas. Like, always try to take advantage of it if you can. It's really good. Oh, you know what? I ignored that turn completely. Hopefully there wasn't anything too wild in it. I assume there wasn't. Alright, so we're looking at a read on top. We're going to go ahead and swap that arrow out for a read the glide path. Beautiful. I love it. Exactly the same line I'd go for. And now we got a codex going to hand. All right, I think, well, it's not going to hand yet. We're just looking at it. But I think this might be the start of where we're a little too careful. We're running Snapdragon Scalers. And we fire off a infecting shot for 11. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pause it here. And I'm going to direct a question to the chat. If this Kano says no blocks, you, as the Azalea player, would you rather say, oh, cool, here's your Blood Rot, take 11, I will Arsenal and pass? Or since you just drew a Codex of Frailty off of the top of the deck that you opted and then, Death Dealered, would you Snapdragon Scalers into a Codex line? Take a few seconds to reply. Are you snapping here, or are you waiting? Not to lead the witness. Or are you waiting and just saying, hey, 11 plus a blood rot, I'm going to arsenal a really good card, and we're going to keep this gravy train a-flowing. Go ahead and throw your answer in the chat down below. I'd love to see it. In fact, I'm going to go get another beer while you guys do that. Be right back. All right, I'm back. What are we saying? Oh, by the way, I grabbed a Victory Dirt Wolf for that dirty wolf that lives inside of all of us. Now, this is a double IPA. It's 8.7%, which means it's a monster. But bottoms up. All right, so Josh, you would save snaps. Josh would save snaps here. Okay. I feel like I'd snap it. Could be worth an extra 7 value plus ponder. Snaps. If Codex is his only card in hand, then definitely no snaps. Got to keep it for potential pitching. I just tuned in, so I'm not sure what other arrows are in graveyard. With max life totals, probably not much. But Infecting Shot with 1 floating is a great Codex target. Send it on snaps. Love Victory Beers. Ooh. Such high percent. Ship it! Okay then. Evan Dasher. Evan, I know you. You're a Kano player. You say send it on snaps. Yeah. Okay. So, in my opinion, we'll go ahead and start playing the video again. If the Kano player is blocking, then you hold back. If the Kano player is blocking, then you're totally chill to just hold back. But if the Kano player ever says no blocks, then you better start putting on the pressure. He's got 2 cards in hand here, I believe. So I guess you'll have to ditch one for Codex, but like I'm breaking those snaps, and I'm like maybe not sending Infecting Shot again, or maybe just is Infecting Shot again. I'm not positive, but I'm breaking those snaps. I'm hitting that Codex, and I'm saying, well, here's the bill. No blocks. Well, guess what? There's a courtesy fee and a special tax that you don't know about, but you're going to take all this extra damage. Because as we see here, there's an Eye of Ophidia in hand. So he couldn't have blocked with that card anyways. If you look a little bit deeper, there's also an energy potion in hand. So if we really just lay on the damage, he's going to be forced to act. And with you at 40, he's really got to hit like exactly what he needs to hit off the top if he's going to go for it there. Or he's going to like block for 6 and eat a bunch of damage and really have his potential like Eye of Ophidia turn really hampered. Because now, you know, he's gone Eye of Ophidia. He's hit a potion off the top. He's hitting a book off the top. This is like a case of things getting real bad real quick. And you know, he hit a blue prognosticate. That's not that scary. Go ahead and get that potion out of the way, since that's in the field, no longer in banish. But yeah, I like, and again, you know, you give the Kano a window to maybe like blast you if you pick Infecting Shot and you go down to, you know, 0 shields, but you really got to take advantage of those Snapdragon Scalers if you're gonna run them. And now he's staring down an Aether Flare, you know, which isn't super scary, but it's still an Aether Flare for 4. Where if you had forced this Kano to block with the other 2 cards by throwing a whole nother arrow, then maybe he doesn't get to do all this. Maybe he just pitches Eye, plays Potion, and passes. Again, none of this is set in stone. I have to wonder, when Kano's got 2 no blocks in hand, like, do you really want to, like, not that you know that he has no blocks in hands, but I'm just of the opinion of, if the Kano isn't blocking, then you really probably want to push the issue. Because, like, Kano's going to block until he's got something pretty gnarly. So, again, maybe this is me not being careful enough, but I hate to lose to Kano because I wasn't aggressive enough, you know? But so far, you know, the Azalea didn't take that much damage. The Kano player is about to drop down to like 17. Not a terrible spot to be in, you know? Maybe that was too early to pop the snaps. There's a chance. We're going to bottom that yellow. Hopefully, now we pitched a blue on the last hand, and it stopped 4 damage, so it was well worth it. We're going to blind Azalea. Pretty good here, hitting a Rain Razors. Now we're pitching away the Codex here. Now, I don't think I like this play. I forget exactly what he does, but Death Dealer's already been spent. So unless we have another way to get in a card in Arsenal, like, if Kano blocks this for 6, it's just going to end our turn. Now, I'm not positive what the rest of the hand is, but, like, really got to take advantage of go wide potential when you have the potential. And putting that Codex into pitch, unless you're willing to give up one of your AB, and there you go. He basically IP2'd himself there. Like, that was 2 extra cards that could have very easily, like, been more damage. And look at that. Another 2 no blocks in hand. This is now, in fact, yeah, he would have had to eat even more damage. And he gave up the other cards because they didn't block. Or because they did block. And I forget exactly what happens on this turn. Oh, nothing. Oh yeah, because he hit a Voltic Bolt that he couldn't then play. So there you go. Like, that was an opportunity to do extra damage. Still end up with an Arsenal because of the Ponder. What color Bolton shot was that even? And, you know, the Kano player's turn would have been the same no matter what. Those Kindles don't block, so he has to play them no matter what. It would have been play, hit a spell I can't afford, pass. I guess he could have cracked his potion for it, but that seems crazy. And this is a Pump Drill Shot. I don't believe he had a ton of options here. Oh no, we dominated into this. Does he still have a hand left? He should, actually. Yeah, he should still have 2 cards left in hand. Yeah, this is a... Oh, well, he's just holding him back for pitch. That's right. Probably trying to be able to survive the Kano Wizard Onslaught. That makes sense. So I guess the biggest issue here for Avery is like he hasn't really been able to abuse the Kano's arsenal very much. And there you go. Here comes the wildfire. We're going to go ahead and pump it with the gloves and the staff, because why not? And he held back 2 reds. I mean, kind of a scenario where you have to. The 2 reds isn't going to pump this up to a lethal damage, so it's not like it's going to force anything. And you want to try to protect yourself as best you can. Now, Snapdragon Scalers has done nothing this game, so if this was the Spellfray leggings, then we could have gotten this wildfire down to 2, which is, depending on how many spells the Kano player plays, gonna prevent a lot more than just the extra 1. Currently, it would have blocked for 2 because of the wildfire plus the Aether Spindle. We're getting to opt for 7 here. If you ever can, try not to let your Kano opponents opt for 7. It'd make more sense to snap if he full blocks and then you use Codex, because you know there's no repercussion and you're guaranteed to deal damage. If he full blocks, sure, I could see that, Dario. Don't let him have more time. More time equals more chances for sculpting hands. And that's basically the point that I'm trying to get at. There maybe isn't exactly a true right or wrong here. But for me, you got to put Kano on that clock. You really, like, this turn happened because he had enough time to get here. Now, maybe he would have gotten here no matter what. But you got to put Kano on a clock. And with access to Codex and access to snaps, it's just, when you have the ability to play it, you just play it, you know? And I guess it was fortunate in that the 2 times I'm saying he should have gone for it, the Kano player had 2 no blocks in hands both times. Just kind of guaranteeing that he is going to get to hit, even if the Kano decides to block. I'd say the second time it was more worth it than the first time. But yeah, it's just, you really can't give Kano much wiggle room. And even though Avery's playing very carefully here, he's not really, like, forcing any issues. And the Kano is really just getting the ability to play, like, you know, pretty much whatever the heck he wants. And now we've got the blazing, you know, when you opt as many cards as he opted, and you know, set up the things that he set up, then it's going to happen. We're even getting a ponder off of that blue zap. And I'm not positive how much this blazing is coming in for, but the Azalea was at 21, and I think they're dropping down to 2 here, so it's probably for 19. Yeah, 19. It's pretty spicy, and I believe that Spellfray leggings would have blocked for 1, 2, 3, 4 there? 4? Which is pretty good. 4 block off of 1 piece of armor is not too shabby. So yeah, 2 to 7, still not a terribly unclose game. Gonna go ahead and pop the inertia before the ponder to go ahead and guarantee he gets an arsenal. Pulling the old Willy B, not even looking at the card before you arsenal it. I do it because I don't care what it is. He does it because he knows what it is, because he looked at it with the opt, I'm pretty sure. And we're just going to fire off. Pitching a red to load, and this is when it gets so scary with Azalea. Like, if you're pitching reds, the Kano just starts frothing at the mouth, you know? It's go time. Especially with only AB2 and only 2 life, he literally only needs to throw something for 4, or 2 things for 3, and then it's just curtains. Exactly. And that's what I'm kind of trying to get at, Brad. The snaps, basically, if you can ever get your Kano opponent to a point where Dominate says lethal, no matter what they do, then they're forced to go for it. And the sooner you can force them to go for it, it's like either they hit it or they don't. And if they don't, you win. And if they hit it, well, you lose. But like you want to force them to go for it, otherwise they're just going to make it happen naturally. Like this happened very naturally, you know. Jimmy got to play through so many good cards and like opt a bunch of cards, and now he's opting even more off of this Cindering Foresight. And surprise, surprise, he he plays Gaze and gets to opt even more, puts all that on the bottom, and now he's going to play not yet another Cindering Foresight and Gaze even or opt even more, and it's just like no one's winning against this, you know. Toma Findel, like it's almost gluttony at this point. And there's the Voltic Bolt, or no, that's Sonic Boom. Either way, though, there's the he didn't even need the Sonic Boom actually, because he had the Emeritus Scolding, blue or otherwise, whatever color it is, it will get there. But no, yeah, not a bad game from Avery, I'd say. Hey, there's Brody and Ellie. But there were opportunities to break snaps that he never took advantage of. And it's just those little things where, like, this Kano was at 7, you know? If he could have scrounged up 7 more value and maybe forced the Kano to go for it sooner, maybe the Azalea gets there. Now, admittedly, I think this is a scenario where the Azalea's cards didn't exactly, like, line up to be just crazy disruptive and crazy powerful. So I think maybe Jimmy can get there no matter what, but at the same time, I have no way to be sure. If the Azalea forces him to go for it a turn sooner, then like what can and you know, if she plays out those cards, she gets through her deck a little bit faster, so she sees other cards, or he. But just Jimmy was given enough wiggle room to find all the pieces. And I think Avery could have sped up that clock just a little bit faster. Maybe not guaranteed, but just these, you see, these Snapdragons are still sitting here. The Bullseyes, that's fine. You don't break Bullseyes unless it's going to kill Kano. But the Snaps, like, if you're going to run them, you better use them. And that's just another one of those flesh and blood rules of thumb. But yeah. How we doing in the chat, everybody? Does everybody think that I'm full of it? Anybody think that I've made some okay points? Do tell. I'd love to know. Oh, there you go, Brad. Yeah, the arrow that we were talking about him grabbing was Infecting Shot, which would have been worth 7, and the Kano was at 7. So that is something to be said. And the Kano doesn't get to go through their deck as fast as well if they're actually blocking with those cards earlier on, if you force them to. So maybe they don't get to their like crazy combo either, you know? Leggings would have blocked for 5, actually. Evan pointed out, I said the Spellfray Leggings would have blocked for 4. Turns out they would have blocked for 5. That's almost a husk. Almost. Yeah, like, just little things. And, you know, not to dog on Avery. I think Avery played that pretty well, considering the hands. It's just little things that maybe could have added up to a win. Maybe not, but maybe. Let's, I guess let's take all this discussion and see if I can't put it to the test. Just jump into a game. I guess I better log in. Hold on a second, chat. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. But we're gonna take all that stuff we talked about. We're gonna play a little bit of Azalea. See if I can't put that same logic to the test. Oh, look at that, we got a new. Alrighty then. Well, let's drop. Hello. Good luck, have fun. Fatigue shot can be dropped. Oh, I have 2 of these currently. I don't remember making that change. What else? Drop the amplifying arrows. Drop the battlefront bastions. What is the other drop? Merkmeyer grapnel. Alright, let's play it. Alright, let's see what we draw. We gotta look, so hopefully we can find a turn 0 dominate. Ooh, that's a really good hit if we can find a pump. Or not a pump, but an arrow. Come on, baby. Blind dominate. That stinks. Oh well. You can't hit them all. Ooh, I wore the wrong hat. What am I doing? Hold on. I gotta concede. Invite to chat. Or the wrong hat. Sorry. Rematch. Oh wait, nope. It'd have to be a fucking full rematch. Whoops. They made me go first, so I'll go first again, but we'll actually wear the correct hat this time. And they are Warmongers Gaming, I think, so we're gonna wear that. Yeah, whoops, I didn't even think about my armor. That was a bit silly. Let's lose the bastions, lose 2 amplifying arrows, lose the fatigue shots, and lose the Merkmeyer grapnels. Send it. Well, a little cheatsy because now I get another shot at dominating, but whatever. Not what we're looking for, so we'll bottom that. We'll blind Azalea. Oh, man. The hits are... Well, no, this is fine because we're just going to load. That's fine. Is 14 maybe going to be good enough here? I think I just send the 14. Like, if they don't have all 3 blocks, and they might, then they're going to have to give me, like, a bunch of armor. Otherwise, it's red and seek on turn 0, which is just cheating. Alright, it's a good start. No arsenal, but I do believe that that is one of the few times it is worth it to say no to an arsenal. What does this one do again? Well, this is less than ideal. Let's see what they can do. Show me your worst. Odds are I can do something. Ooh, they can hit me with the hat. Don't love that. What am I banishing? Battering bolt is kind of bad right now, but I still need an option to fire them. They might react further still. Let's see what happens. We'll get rid of the battering bolt. Venomous Bite. Yeah, this is going to really mess me up. This is a good response to my opening play. I think I can throw something no matter what they hit, but it's still pretty rough. Thank goodness for Take Aim. I gotta find an arrow in the top 2 cards. Alright. Put that one there. What do we got on top? Give me an endless arrow. Oof, that's not good enough. We found an arrow, it's just the wrong cost. Gotta get lucky. No! Alright, well, you don't bottom it this time. Or play it. On turn 0, you just play it and replace it, but right now I have to sit on that. End turn, what? You trying to do something on my turn or something? Too bad we didn't have Tunic up there. I would have fired an infecting shot for 8. That would have been great. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Brad. Much appreciated. Oh yeah, balance was definitely not right. Alright, Persuasive Prognosis. Oh gosh. I mean, I'm not going to block this, but I don't like what they're doing. Oh, new is super good. I am learning to respect new all the time. This stupid mask is great. Oh, they're about to disrupt me even more. They're just going to take multiple cards. Oh my goodness. We'll ditch that one. There goes my infecting shot. Love it. Oh, that's right. I guess I should have ditched the yellow one in retrospect. Ooh, never mind. It's probably endless. And the frailty says no daggers, so that's pretty sweet. Alright, and it's dominated, so I'm happy with that. Oof, we're already down to 45 cards. There's a chance I maybe should have bordered up this game. Small chance of that. So this is a bad example of the games where you get to be like less than careful. Because against new, it's like either be careful or throw caution to the wind completely. But you know, scraping together hands as best I can. All right, they blocked with a hiss. I guess they've got their shoes. CNC. Okay. You got a D-React and Arsenal or something? Sink below. Okay. Alright, so they haven't gotten a Leave No Witnesses into Graveyard yet. This is going to be a CNC going there. I'm thrilled they're going to be under Frailty and Seek. Hopefully their hand isn't super disruptive. That would be nice. Caution to the wind. You're under a Frailty. That does nothing. Maybe he just wanted to pitch it. Okay. Okay, so the hand was a little clunky. I'm thrilled to see it, because boy do I need the help. Levels of Enlightenment. Interesting. Probably going to pick draw a card? Oh, buff power. Oh, they're under Seek and Destroy, so why would you pick draw? Duh. Ooh, and they don't get to keep the feat. Wow, that Seek and Destroy, or Fate, I should say, is huge. I wish this hand was just like a little bit better. I need to go ahead and block with long draw at some point, but I don't think it's right now. Yeah, if anything, I should save it for like beckoning. Yeah, I'm just gonna eat that 5. We're gonna throw pretty good damage back. Oh, you know what? I guess I could have blocked with drill shot. That might have been a mistake. Well, I guess it can be our arsenal target. What's on top? Knock. That's not what we want. I should have blocked with this drill shot. That was a mistake. Oh, unless they let it hit. And then I can just load it and fire it again. That's kind of cool. I might just do that, actually, yeah. Especially if, like, I get lucky and there's a pump on top. That would be huge. But 13 should be pretty annoying to block. And if they do block it out, then I'm chill with just, you know, keeping my snaps and arsenaling drill. But if they don't, I think I'm going to snap it and fire it again. Hopefully draw a pump. What up, Ed? Blocking with a lead, no witnesses. Love to see that. We'll snap it. I don't believe that they can get this up to 13 unless they have like 3 sync belows. Yes! Oh, it's like I'm cheating. Make that 7 with a blood rot come back to hand. You want to give me your cards? Probably got a reaction. No, no reaction. Wow. Just keeping a 2-card hand. Getting the old outsider straight. Frailty, inertia, and blood rot. Oh, they probably got arsenal disruption. Yep, there it is. CNC. Well, the joke's on you. I might just eat this. Although, oh, they got one floating. They could glove me. Oh, you know what? We can just fire battering bolt, though. That's kind of fun. We have a blue. We should take advantage of that. Yeah, I'm going to take advantage of that. You can have the arsenal. I don't care. Either I block for 6 and you get it anyways with a rousing wave, or I fire a battering bolt at you for 12, maybe 15. And battering bolt actually has text into new, which is sweet. I'm going to regret not blocking with this when they oof, good luck blocking. Put a card in arsenal. I love that Codex of Blood Rot just says you have 1 less blocking card now. So cool. Yeah, this battering bolt for 12/14 if you count the Blood Rot. Oh, Lord forbid I get a Ponder. And he's going to be down a card, so he should have a really hard time blocking this unless it's a D-React. It could be a D-React. Battering bolt, bro. Whenever you have a blue, battering bolt goes crazy. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. 12. And it should have text in you because of your reactions in your instance. Better hope you don't have one of your inner cheese in hand, Buster. Otherwise, you're in trouble. Ooh, he's blocking with hat. Love to see that. Sink below. All right, all right. He did have a T-React in hand. That's very lucky. Keeps me off of an arsenal. And he doesn't lose a card, depending on what this card is. That is not exactly the arsenal I'm looking for, but I'll take it. Censor. Interesting. Well, we have a dead card, and I should block with this sooner rather than later. I wish this only came in for 4. I wonder what he'll name. It could screw me. They can't play. I can still pitch it, though. Let's see what you name. Sam, I will actually only be playing the Calling. I was offered a split at a ProQuest, and I said no because I wanted to play for the win, and I lost an Azalea versus Viserai match, which I was certain I would win almost no matter what. But yeah, I lost that ProQuest finals, so I will not be playing in the Pro Tour. I will just be playing in the Calling, but I will be at I'll be in Amsterdam, so I'm excited for that. And I'll probably be playing Azalea too, yeah. What up, Emery? Where's the Prism at? The Prism's always built, always ready. She might just come out for Amsterdam. She's my second choice. We'll see. All right, we're gonna Skullbone Crunchwrap. That's beautiful. Go ahead and swap into that. Play that out. Tunic. That's the thing. The Azalea decks are built so well these days. Like, ooh, a Bolton shot would have been so much better there. That's still a good arsenal target. The Azalea decks are built so well now. Like, you can basically blind Azalea every time. And I think I saw that pump on top, but like, even if that had been an arrow and I bottomed, I would have just gone for it. Like, it would have been fine. Oh, dude, yeah, I'm going with my brother. We're gonna go explore. Ooh, look at that. We got 6 block out of him. He's probably got another D-React. But I'm going with my brother. We're gonna explore Amsterdam. We're gonna ride bikes, eat good food, drink some drinks. Like, it's gonna be fun. And I'll get to play a Calling too while I'm there. Hell yeah. We'll let them react first. Okay. This is a scenario where I am actually going to hold back the Rain Razors just because I have a Bolton shot. I'll put it on the Tunic. And with them with a 2-card hand, it's like, how disruptive are you really going to be? I wonder what they named off a Censor. I don't even know. Oh, mama. Oh, mama. This hand is good. That's not going to cut it. I'll take it. I don't get out of bed unless it's CC. Seems like a way better time. Hell yeah, Sam. Oh, the drink of choice tonight, Emery, is a Victory Dirty Wolf for all the dirty wolves out there. All right, so what's happening to me? Am I just getting a card banished off the top, and is that it? And did he draw a card? Oh. Huh, cool. That's neat. All right, so do we even opt here? No, we don't. We just fire Bolton shots. We can play that, but I kind of want to save that for the Codex target. It doesn't matter a ton, does it? Yeah, and in fact, this will cover up the fact that it's rain razors anyways, because I want to get another load off. Because if I can go Bolton shot Codex, turning this rain razors into a 0 for 6, and look at that, because I played a pump, just naturally, he should block for the right amount. And now I get to get him. Because either he's forced to play a D-React here and overblock by 2, or I get a free reload. Either way, I'm going to be happy. And I would have liked to have held this back to pitch it to load this, you know, as like a, in case he does have a D-React here. But again, if he D-Reacts, it's like not that crazy. Now we get to fire this. And now our Rain Razors was a 0 for 6. And I like 0 for 6s. Sure, we'll go ahead and stick that into Arsenal as well. We'll go ahead and play it. Endless arrow, just so we have options. Now we flip so we can see our potential Arsenal targets, which that's a great target. Fire it off. And that was 8 into 6 into 6. That is a 20 damage turn. We take those. Oasis Respite, which means he's going to have to pitch a card from hand, so he is restricted to a 1-card play here, which is pretty rough. Just because I want to be able to load the Endless, just go ahead and stick that in there. What is he getting? Probably Leave No Witnesses, if I had to guess. Yep, there it is. Oh, and it's only for 3? You're in trouble, buddy. I should have kept the Infecting Shot, but whatever. Excuse me. Look on top. What do we got? Give me another pump, just so I can make this Endless Arrow huge. Beautiful. And now this is going to set up the endgame Dominates. Pump. And pump. And fire. This is going to be 14, I believe. No, 13. 12 because of the frailty. But 12 is an awful lot to break, or to block. If he doesn't give me exactly 12, I get a Ponder, and then we are that much closer to just dominating per game. So, pretty good. That, I don't know how annoying that Battering Bolt was or was not, but that did feel pretty good. I'm excited to have that in my arsenal, or rather, sideboard for all the Mystic heroes going forward. I didn't run it at Nationals, but I think Battering Bolt, at least 2, has a place. I really do. You just got to play blue Bolton shot or blue Spire sniping just to be able to afford it. Locking for 6, so he's got some kind of D-React, I assume? Oasis Respite again. He's going to gain a little more life. Pitching a Fate for Scene. Get another thing to go with it. That way I don't get an Arsenal. Oof, you do not. And you're taking a Blood Rot. That is rough. Alright, so now we're just looking for a big dumb Dominate. But I will say, in my locals, I've been getting beaten up by news lately. The news are pretty spicy. Just because we're looking for a Dom, we'll stick that one in there. We got 2 looks, which is pretty good. Not that one. Read the glide path. Come on, give me an arrow one time. Not that one either. Let's go ahead and blind here, because either it's an arrow, which I win, or it's not. And it is, as it turns out. And it says no defense reactions from Arsenal, so it's super good. But yeah, even if that had been a pump, I still just get to load this Remorseless, and we're off to the races. But instead, it just wins us the game. So, bada boom, bada bing. I guess he can find himself a blocking card now. See if he can get his way up to 8. I'd be curious. There we go. GG. A very well played. I hit him with a thank you? Thanks. Because I rather enjoyed that game. But yeah. Unfortunately, didn't really get to show off throwing caution to the wind there too much. I think I made a couple of blind Azaleas, but you know. I feel like that one was a little bit more standard. You can't really be too careless against New, because if New is like you saw the first two turns, it was Bonds of Agony disruption into Persuasive Prognosis disruption. If these had just like kept going turn after turn after turn, probably gets me. Like if you can hit me with the hat and hit me with another form of like minus a card, be it arsenal or hand, that's pretty backbreaking. But I found if you're only taking one card a turn, it's not that bad. But no, this is kind of my favorite matchup right now. New versus Azalea. It's very, it's good. You got to play it just right, otherwise you get your butt kicked. But yeah. Well, I do believe that is probably where I'm going to call the stream. Let's go back to the fab rules of thumb that we were talking about earlier. And I really enjoyed watching those Nationals games on stream and talking with you guys about it. The Kano one I think is a little like maybe he would have won, maybe he would have still lost. I just think there was more wiggle room to be had just off of the back of Snapdragon Scalers. And then in Jeff's game against the Bolton, I really think Jeff should have won that game. And I think that was the main reason I got so passionate after that match, after he was forced with the decision of either catching a draw and, ruining his run and his opponent's run, or conceding so that at least his opponent gets a chance to move on. And, like the good guy that he is, he conceded, but I think Jeff had that game in the bag, so it really does stink to see that that match not go the way that it perhaps should have. But no, yeah, not bad, not bad. Azalea, a much better hero than she was once upon a time. But yeah, don't be too cautious. Don't be too careful. Be smart. Use your brain when you gotta use your brain. Be careful when you gotta be careful, but when there's a chance to push the advantage, to go for the win, or just to take advantage of the tools that you have at your disposal, like, do your best to take full advantage of that. Because Flesh and Blood is the kind of game where you really gotta push the envelope in every way that you can. But that's gonna do it from me. Thank you guys so much for hanging out and watching the stream. This has been Willie B from TheCardGuyz. Much love, everybody. Please come back and hang out some other time. I look forward to seeing you next week. But in any case,